Welcome to the Great Awakening Ministry. I am Minister and Yogini Joanne Lee. And on this week's show, we have Dana Micucci. Dana is the author of the novel The Third Muse, a metaphysical time travel mystery set in the international art world. Her spiritual travel memoir, Sojourns of the Soul, One Woman's Journey Around the World and Into Her Truth, was a gold medal winner in the Nautilus Book Awards. Over the past decades, her articles and essays have appeared in newspapers and magazines such as the New York Times, International Herald Tribune, and Spirituality and Health, amongst others. Along with her books, her ongoing inner exploration and expansion have inspired her transformational talks, workshops and retreats worldwide, celebrating the timeless, sacred teachings of the world's wisdom traditions. Dana is also trained in a variety of healing modalities and has a private healing and mentoring practice. All her work carries a healing vibration meant to catalyze deep personal shifts in consciousness, expanded awareness, and recognition of one's soul purpose. Drawing on her long-time spiritual inquiry and practice, she finds joy in inspiring others to ignite and accelerate a fearless journey towards wholeness and fulfilment. Her new book, The Year of Living Dangerously, Lessons from the Front Lines of a 21st Century Lightworker, is available now. And she is a speaker at the New Living Expo in California in April 2026 with the wonderful Portal to Ascension.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Dana, I just want to thank you so much and welcome you to the Great Awakening Show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Joanne.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really great. I mean, you've just been on the spiritual path for many, many, many years. And yes. Let's just go into, first of all, I know that you've got all your workshops and you've got all the work you do and all of the books that you've done. But your recent book, let's just talk about that for a little bit, because I just love the title. I just think it's amazing. The Years of Living Dangerously, Lessons from the Front Lines of a 21st Century Lightworker. Wow. Tell us a little bit about this amazing book with this amazing title.
Well, it's been in the works for a while, Joanne, and it was really fun to finally see it in print. That title, I'll start with that, actually is borrowed in a way from one of my favorite films, which you may recall, The Year of Living Dangerously by the great Australian director Peter Weir.
With Mel Gibson.
I thought, well, yes, with Mel Gibson, Sigourney Weaver.
That's it.
Yes. And so I thought, well, I can just add an S onto that, so I'm not using the same title. And really, that's what it felt like. People say, why do you say dangerously? Well, that's kind of what it felt like over these years. Well, I mean, many years, a few decades of doing this light work. And particularly when I began to bring it into more of a public forum and taking groups to sacred sites around the world. I had traveled a lot to sacred sites on my own. I wrote a book before The Years of Living Dangerously called Sojourns of the Soul, which chronicles my journeys and my inner growth and spiritual expansion at a lot of these sites. Well, The Years of Living Dangerously takes that to a whole new level where, Joanne, I was guided by Spirit to take groups on sacred service missions to various sites around the world. So each of the chapters in the book is devoted to what I call a spiritual assignment or a spiritual mission, where, Spirit works in mysterious ways, to use a cliche. And there are a lot of groups sent out to do various assignments. So when I do get an assignment, and that comes from my days as a journalist in New York City, I was always on an assignment. I listen, and even if it seems outlandish. And so I remember when I got the assignment to take a group to Egypt, which I love. I had been to Egypt already a few times, and I was happy to go back, but I heard that you will take two groups to Egypt, and then there will be another journey in between. And I was shown a pyramid, just the sacred symbol, and shown that each of the journeys would be one of the 3 points on the pyramid. And I said, okay. And so I did that. And this is all chronicled in my new book. And what ensued was so much magic, so many miracles. These sacred sites are often built at the intersection of ley lines, which you in England, all of you know about because you have so many incredibly powerful ley lines there.
Yes.
And they are transmitters and receivers of light, and which is information from the higher realms, and also redistributing it into the earth. And there is a lot of light coming up from the center of Mother Earth right now as well, because Terra Gaia is in her own ascension process.
Yes.
So the pyramids in Egypt, the temples of light and transformation, as I call them, and in the Holy Land, which in itself is an incredible vortex.
Yes.
We had many interdimensional experiences, Joanne.
Wow.
And many, what I would say, instant precipitations of objects. I mean, people can read more in the book, but it was almost as if the hand of spirit was reaching through the veils of time and space to communicate to us. And whether they were the ascended masters or the Essenes from ancient Palestine, or perhaps Isis, Osiris, Master Thoth, who knows? But I knew that we were already in the flow of this divine communication. And, oftentimes when we are sent on such assignments to sacred sites, we're not really quite sure why. A lot of it is just showing up, right? And bringing yourself there as a bridge or an acupuncture needle that if you can imagine it, connecting heaven and earth.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. And I mean, the pyramids, these ancient sites, we're all connected to them. I believe that our chakras are connected to the planets, which are chakras in themselves, which are connected to the chakras of the earth and the portals, to other multidimensional realms. We are so connected to it all. But it's just, but we have to be a channel. We have to be a channel. We have to cleanse ourselves and, do all of that work, our inner work, to be able to hold that light, to be a channel, to connect. I mean, the earth has its own kundalini. We have a kundalini. This is what it is, isn't it? The beautiful grid around the earth and everything. And it's all interconnected.
Oh, yes. It's so very exciting. It's so well said. Yes. And so much of it is offering ourselves as those pure and clear vessels. And, this process, as you know, Joanne, you've been on this lightworker path for a very long time yourself, is, it's ongoing, and we're infinite works in progress. It's do we arrive anywhere? Well, yes, I feel that we arrive at various plateaus, but because we're infinite beings of light, and so are the higher beings in the seventh dimension and beyond. They're growing and expanding, Exactly. And so that deep inner work, and I tell so many of my groups, our mission now is to gather inward. Just, remove your attention from all of the static, quote, out there, and reconnect with spirit, God, the creator, whatever word you use. And so much of my spiritual practice is constantly bringing my attention back to that, and back, which is access through the heart center, as I've learned through experience.
Beautiful. And please, Dana, please tell us, describe to our audience, what is a light worker? Because there's so many people saying so many different things about what a light worker is.
Right. Thank you. That is such a good question, Joanne. Yes, I say in the book, a light worker is someone who holds and emanates the light. Now, some light workers do this consciously, knowing that they are here on various sacred service missions, yes, for themselves and their own mastery, but also for the collective. There are so many people who, let's say, live a virtuous life, do the right thing, are good, heart-centered people. You're also a light worker, because you are perhaps your mission in this lifetime is not so much to be out in the public eye, but you're doing your work whether you're aware of it or not, moment by moment in your daily life. And that's equally as significant. So I say in the book, to call yourself a light worker doesn't mean that you're special in any way. It means that you acknowledge that this is why you're here.
Yes.
And it's not just about you.
Yeah.
It's about lifting and raising everyone up around you. And it could be something as simple as a smile or looking into someone's eyes at the coffee shop, or in the grocery store.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful. Yeah. That's so beautiful. And, we are spiritual energy beings. We are made of, aren't we? And we come down here into this dense energy, which is, into Maya, into this world of temptations that take us away from ourselves, away from the light. That's why it's so important to transmute your darkness, transmute the negativity within, so you can hold more light, so you can be a channel. You can, and all that for me is just, joining our consciousness with the divine consciousness, because we're human divine beings, aren't we?
Exactly. Yes. And that's what the word human means, right? Yes. The root word HU is of the divine, human. And so much of it is just noticing, remembering, and I feel that we're being really helped in that way, accelerated by the incredible infusions of light from the cosmos. And we just had the most amazing supermoon right next to Jupiter in the sky. Wow, that was exciting. And just, the veils are thinning. And at so many sacred sites around the world, they're practically non-existent. And so simply to be open to receive, it's I don't think it's so much about doing anymore, Joanne. We've been conditioned in our cultures. We have to do, and we have to be productive, and we must achieve. And I think so much of what Spirit God is showing us now is that we have to really nurture our ability to receive, which is a divine feminine attribute. It's wired into women naturally, but men also have a divine feminine side. So this is the qualities of opening, surrendering, allowing, and receiving are divine feminine attributes. And I feel that we're being asked to bring those online more to rebalance right now. With that equally important of directed and powerful male energy. Divine male.
It's so true because that's what I feel, that the world has been flying on one wing, if you like, and and I think it's been good that the feminine has been lowered, because now it's her rising. It's her time to rise, to come into unity, consciousness, and love awareness with the masculine, not above, but together, unity between the sexes, so that we can bring the balance back equally. But the men, they have to allow our rising. They have to allow that, but and make space for that to happen. Instead of knocking it down, but I mean, men are. I think we're really in an accelerated time, don't you? I know we're always awakening, but I feel that, well, for the past 10 years or 20 years, it's coming now. This age of Aquarius that we're in is really about it's a going inward, finding our own inner guru, our own inner God, goddess within, our own inner Buddha within, in that quiet time. We don't look for it in someone else. We don't look for that, person to save us. In Mary Magdalene's gospel, what does it say? You save yourself.
Yes, absolutely. That is so important, what you just said, Joanne.
Yeah.
The word guru, think of it, if you break it down, you are you.
Oh my gosh,
you are you. We must. That is the way forward.
Of course.
We must reclaim our divine power. And that's what we have always had. And we have always been divine beings of light. I say divine beings of infinite potential. And this is our birthright. This is who we really are. So it's more about stripping away the layers of forgetfulness, stripping away the layers to the awareness of the presence of the divine within us. And you're absolutely right. I agree that, we have to stop relying on the outer to validate us, to give us permission, right?
Yeah,
To be
yeah,
in our
yeah.
power.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's not the way. That's
No,
not the way forward.
no. And I think this time as well, it's not about,
Yeah.
before the gurus and the rishis and all the spiritual people, they used to
Yeah.
go into caves and just sit there for 40, 50 years and have that
Right.
ascension process. But I think the world
Right.
is in such a crisis and we're accelerating so much. We're bringing in so much light.
Yes.
We do our work. We awaken to a point, and then we have to give it out to society. We have to, and then we can come back
Exactly.
and go and get that, from the spiritual experiences, like your sacred sites all around the world, and going within and then give it out again. It's not about going and just being, not, it's a time of awakening and awakening others. It's just such a crucial time.
Yes, it is. It's very transformational and exciting.
Yeah.
And yes, there was a time and a place for the monk in the caves. And God bless
Yes.
the Tibetan monks who are
Yeah.
still in many
Yeah, still in
ways,
there.
holding down the fort for the rest of us. And so much of what's happening now, and you touched on that, is about connecting. Moving beyond that sense of separation,
Yeah.
which is, as we know, a false premise. It's an illusion. And so many of your listeners, I'm sure, like us, have had those moments of, wow, it's true. It's not a cliche. We truly are one. And, to know that this is a higher way of being, it's this higher way of connecting heart to heart and living in and through the heart center. So much of my work, Joanne, is about embodying the wisdom of the heart, because my experiences have shown that it almost in every wisdom tradition, and I've delved into a lot of them on my travels and throughout my life. All roads lead back to the heart, which is the place of unity, which is the place where all those opposites that we talked about, divine, masculine, feminine, spirit and matter, light and dark, heaven and earth, all of them that define our duality experience, they all integrate here at the heart center, which is really what I call the launching pad of our ascension,
Yes.
on our return path back to spirit.
Yeah.
So
because we're fallen angels, and then we do the work, and then the ascension process, we are risen angels, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you have that beautiful rose there, which for me is a symbol of the heart, and Mary Magdalene, as we know, is associated with the rose. And then there's the rose order and this sweet nectar of divine love. This goes beyond particular love. This divine universal love for all that it is. It's of the high heart. And that's what Mary Magdalene and the Essenes and many other masters showed us when they were in body.
Yeah, they did. So beautiful. And
yes.
And you're beautiful. This is so needed at this time, your work. It's so needed. And your sacred journeys, these sacred journeys, we touched on that before, the sacred sites that you go to all around the world, all of us, what can we, it's so important to have, it's like doing a ritual, isn't it? Albeit a ceremony. You going into these places, it's the energy, it's, as you said, it's so thin. And that's where we can commune and connect with the divine and with the ancients who were helping us.
Yes. And that's why sacred sites are so important. I give a talk about sacred sites. I've done this all over the world, and I will be doing this at an expo coming up called the New Living Expo in San Rafael, California, April 17th to 19th, which was organized by Neil Gower and Porter to Ascension. So I'm excited to be there to give this talk. I just gave it also at the New Life Expo, New York City in November. And so I've been, just singing the praises of sacred sites for so many years. And it's almost like plugging your finger into a socket, Joanne. You probably know, once you go, you get this huge blast of energy. You receive mystical insights and revelations, and people receive healings at the sites because of the heightened frequencies that you can tap into. And of course, in England, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have, it's just one big sacred site. And then you have the crop circles, which are so powerful. And I took a group to Avalon. This was in 2024, I believe, and it really was one of my most powerful sacred journeys. It really was.
Tour,
and I've been doing
Glastonbury, Avalon.
Yes. And the stone circles, and I mixed some other things in, but Glastonbury was certainly center point. And there's so much ancient wisdom, as you talk about, so much that still resides in the land, in the rocks, in nature. And it's all, and then of course, like I said, we have all these cosmic events, and especially our sun is a great ascension accelerator. There's so much activity on the sun with just increased solar events, and there's coronal mass ejections and photons. And I mean, there's so much happening. Sunspot activity is at its highest. So, the sun and the earth are also ascending, meaning moving to higher dimensions of light. And we're so fortunate that they're carrying us along with them.
Yes.
As long as we continue, as you say, to do that deep inner work, that also accelerates this process of expanding consciousness.
Exactly. Because we expand and we raise our vibration. We help raise the whole world's, humanity's vibration. We're giving that out. We're being of service to others by giving out that spiritual healing to others. When the energy comes through us, through our chakras in our hands, and we give that out, it's so powerful. We become, a channel for the Most High, for the energy to come. And that's it's so important to elevate ourselves so others elevate as well.
Yes, absolutely. A channel, a vessel, a vehicle, right? Where it's not ours. We're simply allowing ourselves to be used by Spirit God. And anyone can do this. It's like I said, it's not a special thing. It's just that some of us have been called to make our work about anchoring the light, and then it becomes more of a public endeavor. But however you do it is so important to uplifting all of humanity.
It is bringing healing. We're all healers, aren't we?
We're all healers, right? We're all healers. I mean, for example, like I said, it's not so much about doing or making things happen anymore. It's just simply about being, and it's about who you are and the frequency you hold, not necessarily what you do in the world. And that can shift someone in an instant, right? Someone could walk into a room, someone who's been doing this work for a long time would say, you, Joanne, and you don't say a word. You just walk into the room, and all of a sudden everyone entrains with your frequency and they receive a healing. It's not like you're going to this party saying, oh, I'm going to heal everybody. You're just showing up, right?
That's right. It's just emanating, isn't it?
Right.
That's it.
It's emanating. It's like a star, like the sun, which they emanate. Like they don't send it, really. They emanate it.
The prana, the divine love light energy comes into us. It's so beautiful. So beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And as you say, it's so needed now, because there is, I feel like this collective sadness, a collective heaviness and density, where I totally get it. I mean, there's
a lot of darkness in this world.
Has been a lot. Humanity's been through a lot, and people are tired, and they're looking for a higher way of life. They're really searching for meaning, I feel, now more than ever. And so much of that wisdom, that information, which is light, and the love, which is creation, it's all there for us. It's all there.
It is. We just have to tap into it.
Tap into it.
Be in alignment to it, and we can receive it all. Going within, and contemplation, and calming the mind. You're open and asking the divine for that guidance. It comes in. I always, when I do my meditations, I'm always there, and I'm receiving through the pineal, which is our antenna to the multidimensional universe,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
receive it all. The light,
Yes.
it's so beautiful, and the
Well,
love, it's just, but you have to be in that still mind place to receive it. You can't have your mind full of everything, because you can't receive. Like you said before,
that
we've got to be a good, open, clean, purified receiver, like a vessel. Yeah.
right.
And it's
Right.
mm,
So true about the mind. And that's why so many of our wisdom traditions, I would venture to say all of them,
mm,
have meditations designed to still the mind, which the Buddhists, as we know, call the monkey mind, because
right.
the mind agitates the heart.
Mm,
And the mind, I always say, is in service to the heart, and if we could just quiet that, that's when all the synchronicities happen. That's when the miracles happen. And
that's right.
miracles really, we look at them with awe, but really they are also our birthright, just having everyday miracles. And we know that we're in the flow. And if you've ever, anyone who's listening, when these magical things happen, if you stop and think, um, what state was I in when I received all these synchronicities in a
That's
row?
it. That's it.
What state was I in when I just communicated telepathically with three people who then called me at the same moment? And when you reflect on that, it's because your mind was still
Yes,
and your attention was at your heart center,
that's right.
which brings you into your body. And when you're in your body, you're more present. And
Mm,
when you're more present, vice versa, you're in your body. And I feel that we really need to emphasize more about this process of divine embodiment, because on the spiritual path, as you know, it's so easy for us to just float out of our crowns and be,
mm. Or
really
be in this
perfecting the
mind.
higher.
Yeah. Or be in the mind,
Yes,
the egoic
or
mind.
be in the mind,
Mm,
and even just focusing on the higher chakras, but remembering that we were given these beautiful ascension vehicles. And
mm,
uh, if we're not grounded, meaning our attention's not at our heart centers,
mm.
and we're not present, then we can't be of service as effectively.
Exactly.
So,
So true. So true. So true.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
on the subject of miracles, how do you persevere against great odds and can even experience miracles? Because I think so many people, it's a real, there's so much potentiality, there's so many possibilities, there's so much light, there's
Right.
so much beauty, but then there's so much going on, there's so much chaos, there's so much contrast,
Yes.
forcing people to awaken the contrast and the suffering and the darkness. We
Oh,
need that to
yes.
awaken. It forces us to change, it forces us to,
Right.
but how
Right.
do we transmute that into miracles for ourselves?
Yes. Yes, that's a good one. It's not as, it sounds difficult, but actually it's easier than it sounds, because all we have to do is shift our attention, Joanne. I
Yeah,
always say, notice where is your attention in every moment. Yes,
right.
the madness, the density, it's swirling around us more crazily than ever before. But
Yes.
we are always at choice. Do we want to focus on that, or do we want to gather inward, as I said earlier, and simply focus our attention at our heart center and continue over and over again to bring our attention back to the heart center, which instantly connects us through a tube of white light leading up to our I am presence, our mortal God presence, and then to spirit God, and beyond that is source. So the more that we can just keep, it's a practice, and it's just a matter of noticing.
Yeah.
And the real key is to remember in the moment and to notice where your attention is. And then, oh, okay, well, I got distracted. Oh, here's this bad news on the TV or whatever. I'm going to rein my attention back to my heart center. You will feel instantly more grounded, more peaceful, more joyful, and more present. And when you are present, this is what I've discovered, Joanne.
Yeah.
Present meaning, like you said, you're not distracted
Mm.
by all those random chaotic thoughts. You are so in the moment and so in your heart that miracles will happen naturally. The synchronicities will accelerate. Your spiritual gifts will come online more
Mm.
powerfully.
Mm. So true.
Whether that's psychic abilities, telepathy, manifestations. Perhaps you're even noticing that your thoughts are manifesting more quickly, right?
During the moment.
Our thoughts, all of us, our collective, I've noticed that they manifest almost instantly now.
Yes. And that's where the divine moment is so powerful, because all possibility is in the now. There really isn't any past or future. It doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't exist.
We only have now. And the power is in now, because we can change our life now with our next thought and our next feeling, the next vibration. That's how it's so changeable. That's the miracle, isn't it? To change. That is a change of consciousness. It's just a change of mind. It's just a change of
It's a shift in perception. And and the great spiritual text, A Course in Miracles, talks all about that shifting in perception. Yes, I love it. It's so powerful. And and it's a choice. It's a moment by moment choice. And sometimes, granted, we feel like we're carrying so much. We feel overburdened. We may just feel, why bother? That's human. Everyone feels that at one point or another. It's just, you don't want to beat yourself up. You just notice, say, okay, all right, I got off track. No whip to the back, right? I'm just going to redirect my attention, and I'm going to drop out of my head and into my heart, and take a few deep breaths in and out through your heart center. And all of that chaos, the density just fades away. And you're more present. And then people will notice, that those emotions start to fizzle, that they don't have as much hold on you. Because remember, it's all those emotions, which we need because they give us information, but we don't want to attach to them. We don't want to cling to them. We want to let them pass through us, take the information, thank Spirit for the information, but we don't want to be destabilized by the pendulum swing of emotion, which is an ongoing spiritual practice, as we know.
And heart-based emotions, that's so beautiful, because when you're in that heart-based emotion, like attracts like. You're attracting more love, more light, more joy, more abundance. You're attracting people on the same heart wavelength as you.
Yes,
Like they're coming. That's what it's about. Things, people, whatever you put whatever you love, you're putting attention on what you love. It brings more of that to you, doesn't it? That heart-based love.
Oh, absolutely. And then, I have this phrase that I like to use, frequency specific. So people who are frequency specific with you, well, you'll just start meeting each other and calling each other in. And it is so beautiful. And I feel that love, like joy, is almost a state of being, like almost beyond, an emotion or a feeling, because we can be in that energy flow as long as we wish. We could be in it all the time. And joy, for me, I feel is the highest vibration we can hold, which encompasses love. And if you think about it, the world is so lacking in joy right now. It's almost like, wait, I know I have it, but let me just get in there and try to access my joy, and that's, I think that is going to be more of the new earth state of being, this state of almost like intoxication. It's just like this bubbling joy that we're going to feel, that it's okay to feel that again. This is, and when we hold the frequencies of joy and love, that is the miracle zone. But our mission is to sustain them, right? To refine and sustain our ability to do that.
And try not to allow outside people, places, or things to bring you into that place again.
Oh, exactly.
That's what I said before. It's about being the master of your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. Making them sacred, making them righteous, and not being disturbed, by outward temptations, people, thoughts, feeling, not going back into that egoic thinking, or that way. It's an ongoing lifetime journey.
It is.
Pain,
It
your
really
joy.
is, Joanne. Yes, it is ongoing. It's multi-lifetime. It's, oh my goodness. And that's,
Exactly. It's so
yes. And I remember
fascinating.
what, Yeshua said about be a passerby. He mentioned that in the Gospel of Thomas. That's exactly what you were just saying. Just be a passerby. Don't let all of that affect you, all of that outer static, the static interference of our world.
Yeah.
So it's just day by day, moment by moment,
Yes.
we practice, and
Yes.
we give ourselves credit for taking those steps
Yeah.
and doing the best we can do.
That's right. And the specific blocks, most people, they get blocked, don't they, from living their dreams and their intentions and for creating the outcome they desire. We've just,
Yes.
I just said some of the blocks outside there and everything, but can you just elaborate on
Yes.
the blocks of,
Yes. Some of the blocks, yes. I feel that one big block is not feeling worthy. Not feeling worthy. I mean, I feel every human has come in with a kernel of unworthiness, however big or small, and part of our spiritual path is to reclaim, like you said earlier, Joanne, reclaim our divine power, to know that we are powerful beyond measure, that we are invincible and unstoppable and infinite beings of light. And that might sound like a cliche, but that really is the truth. And the ascended masters and the angelic realm and all the higher beings of light want us to know that, and I believe that, trying to remember, Saint Germain, one of the masters, said that, there's not much of a difference between us in the seventh heaven, in the seventh dimension, and you, but the difference is that our attention on God never wavers, which means our trust never wavers.
Yeah.
And when you trust, and when, like you said earlier, your attention is so focused on your connection with Spirit God, you cannot help but feel worthy of what you desire.
Right.
I'm sure that if you're listening to this program, you're a good heart-centered person. So your desires are going to be good desires. They're going to uplift yourself and those around you. So when we trust, that there's always a higher guiding force conspiring in our behalf,
that's right,
no matter what our circumstances, and trust in our worthiness to receive
that.
that's a tough one. And that's part of all this work on self-mastery is just transmuting those inner, what shall we call, energetic patterns that block our ability to receive.
Yes.
And I see this in my work. It always comes down to self-worth.
Yeah. And, the world that we live in, religious dogma, all of this going on for, they've reiterated, we're sinners, we are worthless, we're not worthy, and I think that, this is a time of reclaiming our magic and reclaiming, as you said, our divinity, because we are sons and daughters of the Most High. We have the divine flame within us, which is the goddess flame within. We are we are part of that. And really, when you get down to it, there's only one soul consciousness. There's this supreme consciousness in heaven, and we are all a little flame of that oneness. And that's always trying to come back to the oneness, and when you realize that, we won't be able to harm another, because we will realize we'll be harming ourselves. And that's where that oneness, and I think that has done the worst. That separation from God, from goddess, from divine, has done the worst injury to every soul that is incarnated at this time, I believe, because it's taken away our divine power. It's taking away. We can't, as you said, it's the unworthiness. And sometimes you have to go all the way to the bottom of the barrel. You have to do things that are so terrible and so bad to raise yourself up, to realize that you are worthy. Oh,
Yes, it's been, I know, it's been a long, long journey to
mm,
reclaim that. And so many of these outer forces and institutions and the way that humanity has been conditioned. So, it's not our fault. Let's
no.
just say that.
Yeah,
It's not our fault, really. We couldn't, in a sense, everyone was brainwashed
yeah,
into this being small, into thinking small. But that is all being cleared out right now. That
yeah.
that that kind of consciousness will not serve the new earth. And I feel that it's being spun out of us, yes, through our very deep, devoted inner work, and also from all of the help that we have.
Mhm.
And we can ask for help and call upon the angels and the ascended masters and God, and ask Spirit God to assist us in removing this density, in finally purifying and clearing it once and for all, so that we can move forward as the beings of light that we truly are. But yes, that was by design, Joanne. All
Yeah,
of that was by design, because
I know.
this has been, since the days of Atlantis,
Mm,
it's been about, well, when a lot of the Atlanteans went to the dark side, it became power over love.
yeah,
Whereas, right, the love of power became more important than the power of love.
yeah.
And so now we're working to reverse that. And we're going to sail far beyond what the Atlanteans accomplished. I really feel that. And even those timelines, which were so necessary, and so many of us were there. We were in all these ancient civilizations. We carry the wisdom and the memories of the ages, and to simply, wow, if you can, try to tune in to that incredible wisdom that you hold that can be used in many ways to serve others. And these timelines, I feel, Joanne, are collapsing now.
Yes.
This duality paradigm, us versus them,
Mm,
you know, uh, the enemy patterning.
yeah,
It's defined our existence
it,
forever,
it has.
seemingly. That is being dismantled. And that's why sometimes it may feel like we're in a wobble phase. We're not quite standing on solid ground, like, wow, what's happening? You can feel the energy shifting. And maybe sometimes one feels immobilized or not quite sure of what lies ahead. But in a way, that's exciting.
It is. Of course, of course. It's
Yes.
just so beautiful. I think that so many are awakening at this time.
Yes.
It's a
So
real
many.
fastening, a real,
Right.
it's just big. They really are, on all levels, you know, um,
On all levels.
on all levels, not just spiritually,
Right.
university, through health, through, politics, through all the different levels and
Right.
all the different systems. They all have their own
Right.
little awakenings that are happening for the people to realize, about themselves. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's beautiful. And we also see that what has not been working for so long is collapsing. What is not serving the highest good in all of the realms that you mentioned.
That's right. All the old
With
systems
new,
that don't benefit humanity are going to
yes,
gradually fall away. Mm.
falling away. And the new is already replacing them. There's so many incredible new healing technologies, for example, and new ways of educating our children, and um, perhaps new ways of governing, or maybe there will be no governing by
Yeah.
an external body. We're all sovereign
We'll
beings.
govern ourselves. It'll be community led.
We'll govern ourselves.
I believe that there'll be round table, volunteer governing. People come in,
Yes,
volunteer their time. They don't get paid for it. Little
right.
communities, or it'll be community led, round table,
Yes.
volunteer with people from all walks of life.
I love that. The round table. Yes, King Arthur and Queen Guinevere
Yes,
and the knights, they gave us that concept. It
that's
was
right.
all about
No one's higher.
equality.
Yes.
Right. No hierarchy. Everyone has an equal voice. I mean, the round tables actually go all the way back to Atlantis, where they were called rainbow round tables. And, there were councils, and
Yes.
it was equal masculine, equal feminine. I
Yeah.
mean, wouldn't that be something
That
to
would be.
participate in?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I do feel we will see that in our
So do
lifetimes.
I.
I do, because like you said, things are accelerating so quickly that people say, oh, everyone talks about the new earth and that sounds so beautiful, but when will I see it in the 3D? Well, we will very soon. I always say the new earth is a frequency that's available to tune into at any time. And yet at the same time, that frequency is grounding more and more into our physical realm.
Yes.
And if you look hard enough, you will see it.
That's right.
And all these new kids, these young people coming in, I mean, they're very community oriented.
Yes.
They think about the whole. They're concerned about the animals and
family. They're going back to family values,
yes.
traditional family values, and they're wanting that again, because we came out of that for
right.
a while, but I think it's coming back again. They want to, it's not just about selflessness or service to self, it's service to others, because when we serve, our kundalini naturally raises. We become enlightened when we serve,
That's right. That's right. That whole, I am you, you are me. The ancient Maya had the beautiful saying in Lakesh Alakain, and they would repeat that to themselves. And that's so true. What happens to us happens to everyone, and vice versa. I hurt you, I hurt me.
That's right.
I love you, I love me.
Because we're one. Right. We can't harm another, because what you give, you receive, Jesus told us,
Yes.
So we live in a cause and effect universe, a cause and effect realm. So everything that we give out, all of our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions will always come back to us. So it's why, we've got to be righteous and sacred in what we think.
Right.
It's so important, because it goes out like a ripple. It doesn't just live one person. You might have said something to one person, and then that person will go out and do that to another, and to another, and to another. And it's
right.
The ripple effect, isn't it?
Right. The ripple effect, the power of words, especially. Yes, our actions, and we can see our actions and but words, hold energy. I see them as energy packets. And the ancient Egyptians said, to write something down is to make it happen. Or abracadabra means as I speak, so I create. So we must be diligent, diligent in noticing.
Yes.
Everything. It requires a level of impeccability, Joanne, that we're all striving for. Those of us on this path, we're striving for that. And, and we have to be patient and simply continue to do the work.
Yes.
While, actually lifting ourselves up, honoring ourselves at the same time that we're honoring others.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly so true. It's beautiful. So beautiful. We live in an incredible time. Our soul chose to be here, to go through this beautiful awakening and this ascension process, and to meet up with, all of us light workers and help everyone ascend.
Yes,
that's
exactly. That's what we live for, right? We've done this in so many lifetimes. And we're back. We're back remembering to do it again.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Do you think that in other lifetimes, because I think that the ascension process, the journey of the soul, that it goes through all the different levels, the 7 heavenly realms, and all the astral and the causal and the different realms, which are interacted with the planets, and and then as we go up. But I feel that every time we come back, we're closer and closer, and we get closer and closer to that ascension process, because once we ascend, we can choose not to come back here. We're out of the samsara, aren't we? Birth, death, rebirth, wheel. We become released from the, if you want to call it, the soul trap.
The wheel.
Here, the
wheel. Soul trap, the wheel of reincarnation, as the Buddha said. Yes. And the ascended masters call that the victory in the light, the ascension, where you realize yourself as an immortal being of light. And so the ascended masters reached a point in their bodies, and this includes beings that are historically documented, like Jesus, Mary Magdalene, who did walk the earth, we know. And I do feel, gods and goddesses like Isis and Sekhmet and Hathor also walk the earth. Maybe they were much more in an energetic form. I'm not sure, but all of these beings were real, including the gods and goddesses from Greek mythology.
Yes.
They had to be real, although
Yes.
they've become legends and myths. And so they all showed us, whatever tradition you resonate with, they all showed us that we can move beyond earthly limitations.
Yes.
That we are not confined to suffering and struggle and lack and limitation, or even death and disease. So those beings who ascended from the 3D realm conquered all their limitations by
Yes.
doing the exact inner work that we're talking about.
That's
they were
right.
on the path of mastery, and they were able to defy sickness and disease and even quote death, which
Yes.
we know is also an illusion.
That's right.
And so now they exist in
And
a realm of
yeah,
infinite light.
it's beautiful.
Yes.
And they left their physical bodies. They became the light energy body, the Merkaba. They raised themselves up.
Yes.
They ascended
Yes.
like the Gnostics, the inner knowing, Gnosticism,
Yes.
the Essenes. They rose out in their body. That's what
Yes.
the resurrection is it not?
Right.
Like the yogis,
Right.
in their rainbow light bodies,
Right.
they ascend to the higher levels in this metaphysical, incredible realm that we live in, and
Yes.
they showed us Mary Magdalene, was a great Essene, and she did the same. So did Mother Mary. They all,
Yes, they all did.
They all did it. But there's one thing: they were all mere mortals like us. They were human and divine. And Jesus came down here not to show us how divine he was, to show us how divine we were, that we could do the same as him, because he was a mere man, but he became enlightened and he ascended into his light energy body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they were all here as teachers and guides to show that is possible, right? All these things I can do, you can do also, and even greater things will you do. And I love the gospel of Mary Magdalene's gospel, because it's really a roadmap to activating her light body.
That's it. It is.
This is how I did it.
Yes, it's a metaphysical gospel.
It's a metaphysical gospel. And it's so true about what you said about the light body. It is the ultimate stage of human existence. The superluminal essence of who we truly are is when we merge with our light bodies.
Wow.
And yet at the same time, and we don't, yes, I'm sure we've been through the ascension process on other planets and other star systems, but as far as what's happening now on planet Earth, we don't really know how that's going to look, right? But, some say that we will not have to leave our bodies, that we will keep these bodies while inhabiting our light body. We'll be at a higher frequency, more of an energy body, but we'll still be of service on this earth plane, still walk the earth. Wouldn't that be
beautiful?
Something?
Absolutely amazing.
Yes, amazing. So
just like the Celestine prophecy.
Yes, the Celestine, exactly. Exactly.
And what happened was they predicted one day, thousands of years time, whatever, heaven and earth will come down, the veil will be gone, and we will be in our light energy bodies, and heaven and earth will be as one.
As one. The age of Aquarius, right? We are in the age of Aquarius. We are now anchoring the new Camelot, the new Renaissance, the new Jerusalem, whatever words you want to use. And, in the old days, it was the new age, but it is a whole new paradigm. And everyone on this planet chose to be here, as you said, chose to be here to partake in it in whatever way you are called. And your contribution, those listening, your contribution is just as important to the ascension of this planet as anyone else's. Exactly. So, wow. Yes. So much to celebrate, Joanne.
I know. It's just absolutely wonderful. And it's even more wonderful to talk to you about it, and your divine wisdom. Thank you so much for your divine wisdom, Dana, honestly. I want to know, please tell us, where can we read your book and learn all about your workshops and everything?
Oh, thank you. Yes, well, people can get The Years of Living Dangerously, Lessons from the Front Lines of a 21st Century Lightworker on Amazon. And you can also go to my website, which is danamicucci.com, DANAMICUCCI.com, and you will see that book and my previous books. There were some other spiritual books, including a novel devoted to the wisdom of Mary Magdalene,
Beautiful.
The Third Muse. And you can find about all my books, as well as my events and a sacred journey that I'm doing in, well, the end of July. I'm speaking of the Ascended Masters. I used to take groups of people to Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming here, which actually is an etheric retreat. Supposedly one of the major etheric retreats of the Ascended Masters on the planet. And it is a very, very high frequency place. I thought I was done with those group missions at the Tetons, but I was not, because I got a call to go back. So I'll be taking a group there. People can read about that if they're interested and want to join. That's on my website, as well as my upcoming events with Portal to Ascension.
Yeah.
And that will be there too. I mentioned the New Living Expo, and I will be in Glastonbury, actually, Joanne, at the end of August.
Yes, I know. I'm going to be there. I'm
Oh,
going
good.
to try and come to the New Living Expo in California as well.
Oh, good. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes,
Gonna be
Ascension Glastonbury, put on by Portal to Ascension. I'll be speaking there
lovely.
August 28th.
Wonderful.
And it would be great to
Yes.
see any of your listeners, and you as well. I'll see you before that in April.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Dana, thank you so much for all of your divine wisdom. It's been wonderful to talk to you. Wonderful, divine feminine, and your beautiful light shining through. So thank you for being on the Great Awakening Show.
Oh, thank you, Joanne. It was an honor and a joy to be with you today. Thank you for having me.